It's the final frontier. The two Alpha Ontario teams, Humber and Durham, separated by 7 kilometers in distance. But tonight, 40 minutes of unscripted poetry separates one of these teams at Canadian supremacy. It is the 2025 CCAA men's finals from Vanier College. Good evening to those who are watching coast to coast. Frank, Renee, Mocon on this Saturday night. We're down to the final 2. And it's the 2 teams who ended their seasons in the OCAA a fortnight ago when Durham beat Humber on Humber's court. And now here we are in the province of Quebec, in the island of Montreal, in the borough of Ville Saint Laurent at Vanier College to see who will be the Canadian champions. Frank, good evening to you.
Good evening.
We got these 2 teams, Durham and Humber. Durham had a bit of a glitch start against UNB St. John, and they pulled away in the 4th quarter and won. They played Brébeuf. Brébeuf gave them a stiff blow to the jaw, and they won that game. Humber, same thing. Tricky start to the whole tournament against Capilano. Nearly was forced to go to overtime. They won that by 3. They played Vanier on this court down by 11. They come back to win by 4 or 5. And now here we are. These 2 teams know each other very well. You can feel the intensity with these 2 teams on this Saturday night.
100%, and good evening to everybody watching from the GTA and across Canada. We're in for a good one tonight. Look, in my opinion, the 2 best teams facing up, and while we were preparing for that game, Mo, I was trying to find out which team had the advantage, and it's a tough call. There are 2 teams that are very similar, and I'll tell you this. I think it might come down to who can make the most shots consistently in that game. It might be as simple as this, because both teams get after it defensively. Both teams love to rebound the basketball, and both teams play extremely tough.
And both teams want to have that bragging rights in the GTA Oshawa area. Up next, national anthem, and then from there, tip-off between Durham and Humber from Vanier College. Welcome back here, Frank, Renee, Mocon, as we get into the tip-off between Humber and Durham. Up next, the player intro. lights are on. It's Saturday night. Who will shine best in Vanier College? Will it be Durham? Will it be Humber? 2 weeks ago, these teams played each other on Humber's courts. And Humber lost that game 67-61, in which they had a lead of 35-28 and were outscored 39-26 in the second half. Mark Stoop was absolutely sensational with 20 and 10 and 3 dimes. Both coaches, speaking to the before tip coach, said there's no feel-out factor. We know each other. And for Durham, they want to go out for an early knockout punch to set the tone early in this matchup.
Yeah, it might come down, like I said, to execution and making shots, as both programs know each other very well.
Two of Ontario's top attractions are in Montreal, and here is Jalen Menzies, and we get underway. Antwi, one of the key heart and soul players on this Humber team. Here is Menzies, and here is Monique Grant, the OCAA Player of the Year. Antwi had a big dunk to open up the comeback against Vanier. The three, off the heel, rebound, save, and a spike pass by Louis, and this remains Humber ball with Quicken left and shot clock.
I like the first possession for Humber, getting the ball in the paint, forcing the defense to collapse, and they get a wide open three.
That's all industry with these teams, and here is Jalen Menzies, who is a flamethrower from three, and there it is. Off the iron, and a one and done, and away go the Lords with Marnie on the catch. Marnie in traffic. Marnie is knocked. Rebound right on the end line, and this will go back towards the Humber Hawks. So we're seeing that lively pass action right there by Durham to go for the long ball, stretch the legs of Humber.
Yeah, something to keep an eye on. Number 5 from Humber, Monique Grant, had a very quiet game in the championship game against Durham. Let's see if he's a bit more aggressive here to start this game.
Cam David, no good. And the cleanup and the first strike for Louis, getting his first 2 points of the day. In 6 games, he had 11 plus points, had 18 against St. Clair during the regular season.
Yeah, he's a rebounding machine. Quick second bounce. Has a great nose for where the ball's gonna go off the glass.
Louis has 13 and 13 against Durham. Stoop off the iron, rebound, boxing out, and this will go back over to Humber in this opening quarter play. We're about a minute 10 so far right now in this opening matchup.
Yeah, good look for Mark Stoops. He's probably the one guy on this Durham team that can really cause a lot of problems to Humber because of his ability to shoot and his size.
He is definitely the supply line when it comes to the distribution and shooting acumen that he provides. Here's Malik Grant, who is a Stardust player. Antwi against Hall. Kick out to the flats. Menzies. And a rebound right by Hall. And they're 0 for 2 from long range against Durham. And right away, they're pushing the agenda. Hall attacking, looking, teardrop. And another one and done, and a long ball to Menzies. Trailing back at Stoop. And Menzies blew a tire. And this remains Humber ball. Right now, Coach, it feels like both these teams are trying to go for the juggler with these long balls, high-flying, high-octane offense so far.
Yeah, both teams are trying to push the pace, and they're trying to play in transition. I like Antwi right now for Humber, but you can tell that Durham has a clear game plan. They want to force him to kick the ball out when he drives the basket.
Durham shot 5 of 23 against, I beg your pardon, Humber shot 5 of 23 against Durham in the loss 2 weeks ago. And we'll see how they do today if they can get a better outlet. This is a Durham team and a Humber team that don't play each other that often, but in the last year and a half they have. Grant pickpocketed. And here come the Lords the other way. And the whistle, and that will not go through as Jaysean Elliott will go to the line. And Jaysean Elliott had 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 steals. He was 2 of 7 from three-point range, and he was massive in that second half win against Humber in Toronto 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, great active hands on his part. Active, and that's one thing, Mo. When you're playing defense on a ball handler, you don't want to reach. You just want to swipe with your hands, and that's exactly what he did. And he came up with the steal, and now he's at the free throw line.
Yeah, if there is one migraine headache for this Durham Lords team, they were 5 of 13 from the free throw line against Humber for the season, 53%. They had 13 games when they shot 60% or less this year. It's 1 for 2. It's a 2-1 lead. We're 2 minutes in. And the Hawks, who won the national title in 2022 on their home court, Durham's lone title came in 1997 against who? The Humber Hawks. Here's Louis. He was masterclass against Vanier. Louis to the left, backing against Stoop. Second by the cherry, denied. Rebound, Menzies, and a reload for Humber. Menzies attacking the pressure points, in for two, and he was galloping up ahead. They're up by a score of 4-1.
Yeah, I like it. The referees are letting them play. As we're seeing a great finish at the basket here to avoid the contact. Stretching to his right hand.
Quick hand. Here is Menzies. Partial breakaway. It's been fruitful for Humber, and they are off to a 6-1 lead.
Yeah, he's so quick, Mo. Quick feet, quick hands. What a steal
This
by
Humber team gets about 12 steals per game. And right now it's been a disjointed start for Durham as they'll bring in the calm setter and number 24, Rudy Fahik, who came in against Brébeuf and really calmed the waters down for this Lord's team.
Yes, he was massive off the bench with 15 points against Brébeuf. But Mo, you look at the coaching staff from Durham, they're very calm. They know, and we've seen it all week, even if they're gonna go, it's a game of run. You're gonna go through your ups and downs, but they know that their guys are gonna answer the call.
Louis against Stoop, the two dreadnoughts, muscling his way through the deltoids, and he is called for a turnover on a travel. And Humber hits about 16.5 turnovers per game. 10 times it's 17 or more in a matchup, and that's the first one in the plus territory. 6:55 left here, 6-1 lead. It's been a lively start. And it's almost a shoot-on-sight policy for Humber. Once they get the ball, they are on their way trying to get some quality shots on net.
Yeah, one thing we've seen throughout the week for the Lords, their offense is really good when they have Mark Stoop operating at the top of the key and running different actions off of it, or setting a screen like this sequence here.
And an autograph from Smith as he gets going in this game. And that's the template that they want, and they're down by 3. 6-3 lead. Humber has led from start to present. And Antwi was tickled by J. Sean Elliott. Elliott, in fact, had 13 points in last year's semifinal loss in the OCAA to Humber. This is now their third meeting in the last year and change at the OCAA and national levels. Antwi, Elliott eyeball to eyeball. Stoop watching against Louis. Jab step, taking it to the rack. Louis, A+ man's game. No fear basketball by Louis.
He has been amazing to start this game. Not shying away from the moment, Mo.
Post play. Here is Rashane Smith. Kick out. Fahik from the flats attacking. Smith. And one. And that is going the other way because Rashane Smith was a little too excited on the approach as he's called for a walk.
I like the last two possessions for Durham, though, using the dribble drive penetration to attract the second help from the post, and they're finding a wide open player under the basket.
Rashane Smith using his Brampton street smarts on the paint. Here's Antwi using his street smarts. And a one and done for the Hawks with 5:42 left in this first quarter. Elliott, Fahik. Here's Elliott from the center arc. And he's off, and that's the first rebound coming in for Isaiah Brady Clark, who was ice-based from the free throw line against Vanier. Pressure defense, and Grant will get that off to Louis, and that will be a foul on Stoop, who got a little too handsy with the tickle on the back of Louis, and that will be the second team foul on Durham.
Yeah, not a great foul if you're Stoop. They're gonna need him to stay on the floor in this game, and you don't want to use your foul in a tough situation at half court like this. Around the basket, it's different, but you don't want to foul away from the basket if you're Mark Stoop.
Right now, both teams showing no degree of fatigue. They are locked in. Cameron David. Lovely pass. Better finish. Louis with an electric start. Already at 4 points, up by touchdown, 10-3.
Yeah, using the shot fake to get his defender up the floor. Great concentration and finish.
Louis loves playing against Durham in these last two encounters. Stoop, high-low. And that is what you call perfect basketball, swashbuckling by Marty and Stoop.
That's where they're at their best and on offense, when Stoop is initiating the offense at the top of the key.
Game has been exciting. Aloui has been Stardust, a box office name, and they're up by 7.
Yeah, Stoop did not want to pick up his second foul here.
And right now for Aloui, he's on 8 points on 4 6 shooting so far in this first quarter play. Denied. Malik Grant with a repel, and now the Hawks are in a 3-on-1. Menzies! No call, and we are going to play on with 4:15 left here, and you see Coach Miles not happy about that non-call.
But I love the pace. I love we're letting the guys play. And this is, right now, the speed of both teams is on display in this game, Mo.
Well, right now, this game has been guilty of excitement, and right now it is Humber with the full excitement up by a score 12-5. Brady Clark. Here's Cameron David. This is a deep Humber team looking for national title number 8, and that'll be a whistle with 4:07 left. It remains Humber ball. 13 foul on the Lords.
Yeah, this has been pretty consistent all week long. They're gonna call if you're reaching in. So you wanna stay sound, bend your knees, move your feet, show your hands to the referee, don't reach. David
around Fahik. David. And the putback not there. Rebound right by Marnie. And he will give it back to Fahik. 3:52 left in this first quarter play. The 3, Carter, splash! Carter is up and running right down Simcoe Street. And now they're down by 4.
Yeah, great find in transition. And if you're Humber, Carter's the one guy you don't want to leave open from 3. He can really get hot from there.
He was 2 of 5 from 3 against Humber. That's his heat map. Menzies off the heel, and that will go right back to Durham. And Fahik at the controls once again. 3:20 left in this first quarter play. Fahik bouncing, and he will go to the free throw line. It was not an easy of a stroll as Mr. 5, Malik Grant, will be called for the foul. And Fahik is slow to get up, but this is a man who plays with nails in his mouth, who's tough as nails, who's a 71% free throw shooter, scoring under 10 points a game this year for the Durham Lords.
Yeah, and that Carter 3 was big for the Lord, Mo. That really, we're feeling right now like the momentum has shifted a little bit. After a slow start, Durham has really answered the call, and they're right back in this game.
Well, the glow and gloss in this game is ever so bright. You can see it from here all the way down to the 401 around the Oshawa GTA link. And the free throw's converted. It's a 12-9 lead, 3:17 left. And you see the fascination. Coach Rowley really keeping his guys involved with the vocal conversation. Coach Miles, cool as a cucumber.
Yeah, I love both coaching staffs are very calm.
And back over it comes Cameron David, not making that pass. And the two-handed stab. Motiki Stevens with a real hammer blow. Swashbuckling champagne basketball by the Humber Hawks.
What a pass between the defender's legs, and what a finish. Hard take to the rim.
Remains Durham ball. 14 left on the shot clock. It's all about the moments. And right now, both those teams, their heat map has been in the paint, and they've been finding the rim with quite the romance so far, Coach.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting to see which team is able to guard and keep the ball out of the paint. That's going to be interesting to see which team can do that.
Miles Hall, he shepherded his team against UNB St. John. Here's Caleb Carter. Hall on the interplay for 3. Splash! Technique flawless, and now they're down by 2.
Yeah, that's great defense, just better offense. Tough shot, fading away, going to his left.
Motiki Stevens. And that might have been one pass too many, but Miles Hall looking like a DB out there, denying that shot pass coming in from Motiki Stevens. Both teams right now, Coach, in sparkling form, would you say?
Yeah, I would say right now, it's a great start for both teams. They're in battle back, and it's a 2-point game.
Foul, and off the heel, and 3 free throws coming up for Romeo Osas Joshua, the lone member from the 2022 championship team. And he is going to the line, who's an 82% free throw shooter from Toronto, Ontario, the 4th-year player. And a rare miscue for him. And this is a young man who, during the regular season, 3 times had 10-plus points, had 15 against Canasega, 4 or 5 for 3 as well. And now for Romeo Osas Joshua, looking towards the bench, 15-12 lead.
And for Humber right now, these are critical minutes with Grant, Antwi, and Alui on the bench. These are critical minutes. You want to hang in there and keep that game close.
It might be a vacation for them for a couple minutes of play. Grady Clark, they now are putting the trap. Soup breaks it. Open space. Extra pass. Hall driving in. The finger roll, using the geometry of the window. And now it's a 2-point lead for Humber. 2 minutes left in this first quarter play. No timeouts by either side. David up and over, denied. Stoop devouring that rebound. Positive basketball by both, and Miles Hall. A 2 ties, a 3 gives them their first lead of the evening. Marnie. Carter. And that will be, and the competition ensues. They will converse, the 3 referees, on what they will determine. Every point is the weight of gold. And this will be a foul. So it will be free throws for Caleb Carter, who's 64% from the line. Carter, this year, 10 times scored 10-plus points, had 21 against Lassie Day, and now at the line. And he was big in the win against UNB St. John and was crucial in the win against Brave Bluff 48 hours ago.
Yeah, I just said a couple minutes ago, he's the one guy that can really go hot in a hurry. And I like the last possession by Durham, something to keep an eye on. They ran a ball screen in a triangle action. So on the roll, Humber helped from the same side corner. So let's see if they go back to it next possession.
Back to parity we are, 16-16, 1:39 left in this first quarter. Round 1 has been a boxing match, a flurry of punches thrown by both teams, but no knockout blow just yet. Trapping, Antwi, interception, Stoop, up ahead. Here's Marnie, first lead, no, whistle, foul, and 2 free throws coming up for Marnie, who's scoring about 11.5 points per game. And for the moment, Humber looks a little bit disheveled of the last 2 minutes of real time, not finding the rhythm as he did in the first 4 or 5 minutes of play.
No, for sure. But like I said, if you're Humber right now, you're feeling pretty good about yourself. It's 16-16. You got 3 starters on the bench right now. So you're happy with the start right now. But if you're Durham, you got to take advantage here. Critical 1 minute and 24 seconds left to play. And Mo, in a championship game like this, closing quarters could be the difference at the end of the game.
It remains a 1-point lead, the first lead for Durham. Robert Antwi in the lane, tough. And a rebound by Marnie as he was able to deflect that towards himself. Collins working his way up court. Here's space to work with. Up and over, whistle, and that is going to be a charge going the other way as Zach Morris is the culprit as he had no control going airborne.
Yeah, big time play by Humber in transition defense here. Stepping up, taking the charge, sacrificing your body. And I said in the game before, the most underrated skill in basketball, the ability to take a charge. In most cases, it's better than a block move.
Game is on a tightrope as we are in this game full of jeopardy, full of twisting the tail, and this has been absolutely a heavyweight fight. Brady Clark on the byline. Space, Antwi from the center arc. Too strong, rebound right back over to the Durham Lords. With his Rashawn Smith, he opened up with the dunk for Durham, and that ball was deflected out of bounds off the chest of Antwi.
So Durham got lucky in the last possession. They were pressing in a 1-2-2-3 quarter. It's important, you guys scramble out of the press. And they left a wide open Antwi for a 3-point shot. So once the ball passes half court, if you're Durham, you want to match up and pick up your men.
And I apologize, it's actually turnover last touch by Durham, not Humber. And the game is Wayne Burke. Wayne Burke had a wonderful game against Vanier, and that's a stolen ball. Hall, gliding, sliding, no good, rebound. Second by the Cherry, and it's gonna be foul shots coming up for Roshane Smith, who's 60% from Brampton, Ontario.
Yeah, great defensive sequence by Durham, a hard trap, and right now they're doing a good job, Mo, of not fouling on the trap. They have active hands, they're standing tall, great anticipation.
And the miss by Smith. And with this being a 1-point lead for Durham, it has been much more crisp for them in the last 5 minutes of play. And they're up by 2 with 32 seconds left in this first quarter of action. David back in, Brady Clark going off. And also going off will be Zach Morris and Caleb Carter back in for the Lords. And we're seeing a bit of a press, Coach.
Yep, a 1-2-2 press here.
And David snaking his way through, and he will glide his way into the plus territory. Underneath, and this goes out of bounds. Remains Humber ball, 23 seconds left on the shot clock, game clock.
So Durham is trapping the ball right away. They're not denying the reversal, though. So you gotta look for the inbounder on the reversal, on the press break.
David cutting, and saved by Burke. And Burke is fumbling that ball. Marnie in the recovery. Here's Caleb Carter with 13 seconds left in this first quarter play. Elliott cutting, stopping. Smith fouled, and he will go to the line. The flicks and tricks of Durham on display as they were patient with the passing and caught them sleeping flat-footed.
Yeah, the press has given Humber a bit of issues right now at the end of the first quarter. If you're a Humber right now, you want to start as high as possible. You don't want to catch the ball too much on the baseline. And then you got to look at the player flashing in the middle, and you need somebody flashing back towards the ball, up the sideline, same side. That's how you beat a press mode.
Biggest lead for Durham, up by 4. They were down 10-3, and since then, they've gone on a 17-6 run. And you said it before, Coach, it's a game of runs. 4 seconds left in this first quarter. David! And right now, the three-point ball has not gone in. Round 1 scoreboard to Durham. Round 2 coming up, Coach. What caught your attention from that first quarter of play?
Well, I can't wait to get the stats because the rotation from Humber, they have played multiple people in the first quarter, which, is it a strategy? Is it something they're trying to do to keep bodies fresh down the stretch? It's something to keep an eye on. But the press from Durham has definitely changed the pace of this game a little bit. It was already a fast-paced game, but the press has created trouble for Humber. So right now in the timeout, if you're a Humber, you're talking about your press break. You're talking about what you want to do against that press.
Well, Humber has some real quality to them in the first 4.5 minutes of play. But now going to this next portion of this ball game, Coach, how important is it now as we look at these stats here of how it played out? I mean, look, Humber shot the ball at 35%, 38% for Durham, the top point getter so far. 2 players out 5, Miles Howell 5, or Shane Smith with 5. And meanwhile, it is Alui with 6. He's been the supply line. He has been the chief destroyer of Durham. Do they have to go back to him to become much more influential with their offense?
Yes, they have to. And you see, Mo, 10 players from Humber have touched the floor in the first quarter. So that's a high number. Let's see if they keep that rotation moving forward. If you're a Humber right now, you got to first beat the press, like I said, and then you got to find a bit of rhythm on offense. You got to generate some good looks. Like I said at the beginning of the game, it's going to be about who can execute and make shots because both teams are hard-nosed, tough defensive teams.
Right now, 10 rebounds for Durham, 6 for Humber. And these two teams, when it comes to rebounding, Durham is number 10 in the OCAA, and number 1 in the OCAA is Humber College. And we'll see if that will change in terms of the storyline towards the second quarter of play. It is Durham 20, Humber 16. Round 2 up on deck. Miles high with 5 points. Burke is going to shadow his moves on his left hip pocket. Jaysean Elliott back over to the post, and here is Rashane Smith. Kick out, Stoop from the center arc. Off the mark, and he's had a quiet first quarter into the second period of play.
Yeah, great look generated by the post up. Let's see what Humber does here on offense.
Cameron David back out to Antwi. It'll be Jaysean Elliott on Antwi. Stoop on support. And here is Antwi again, and he was caught in 2 minds. 9:24 left, and that's going to go back the other way. It's a bit of a nervous, twitchy move by Antwi.
Yeah, Humber's struggling a little bit with their spacing right now. There's not a lot of space for them to drive. I like running a ball screen or a get action with Antwi. You just gotta be a little bit more decisive here and get better spacing on the floor.
Jaysean Elliott now at the controls. Stoop opening back over to Rashane Smith, and that is Marche. And we're going back the other way for Humber, and that is now turnover number 5 for Durham. And they hit about 15.5 per game, so they're about a third of the way through of the turnovers so far today.
So since the start of the game, Humber has not been able to get their dribble drive game going. They started really well, but that pressure has slowed them down.
Cameron Davis been playing some heavy minutes so far in this opening quarter play. Menzies in, and that was rejected out of bounds. Using the telescopic arms was Rashane Smith as he came up with a sublime denial.
Yeah, great drive though. First hard drive, paint touch in a while for Humber. That was a good possession.
Osas Joshua back in for the Hawks. And that is a 5-second violation.
No, moving screen.
Screen, there you go.
Yeah. We've seen it all week, Mo. As a screener, you can't stretch your leg outside. You gotta keep it shoulder width apart when you set your screen.
Well, when you're 6'6", it's a little bit tougher.
It is, but you have to.
It's not the most easiest of angles. Hall. Here's Osas Joshua on the help from Burke. Hall, and he was twerking one way, his feet were going the other way, and he's called for the walk, and we are going back in the possession Humber, and it's been a disjointed couple of possessions for either side to start off the second quarter play. Yeah,
and look, if I'm Humber, I'm okay with the travel because Humber was arguing about potentially an offensive foul here. So if you're Durham, you're okay.
And here is Jaysean Elliott with the theft and the harm. The attacking army, the buccaneering finish by Jaysean Elliott, and he is going to the line to perhaps make it a 7-point lead.
What a strong finish. He recognized that his defender was going to be on his side, so he, instead of going with a regular running layup, went with a simple power layup. And we've said it all week, when you go off 2 feet, you're stronger, you're more unbalanced, and you usually draw more fouls. He has a chance for the old 3-point play, Mo.
You can see Durham's playing with much more conviction, better purchase in their shot taking in the last 3-4 minutes of action, and now they're up by a touchdown of 7 with 8:34 left in this first half of play. And you think back to the start of this game, it was a 9-3, 10-3 lead, and Sisson only 6 points for Humber. And here's Menzies. Corner pocket 3. Missed by Burke.
Oh.
Aloui, clean up at L6. He is ruthless inside the paint.
What a rebound. Stretching every part of his body and brought it back with 2 hands after. What a rebound.
A buzz is in the air with these two OCAA teams are playing. Stoop. High-low, whistle, and that will be a foul on Burke as Rashane Smith was in his postal code territory, and the heat map will result in the 14th foul on Humber.
You know what Mark Stoops brings for Durham at the top of the key? He can see over the defense and make the right passes.
Jaysean Elliott. Entry on him. Elliott. Stoop. Elliott. Rebound. Burke. 2 cracks at it, and they come up empty on both sequences. Antwi, and he was going 150 down Lake Ontario, and he got tagged for it, and we are going back the other way on a charge by Antwi.
Mo, we're not even, we have a timeout here. 2 charged already to start this game here.
7:38 left, 23-18 lead for Durham over Humber. And right now, Coach, it feels like Humber has lost its bearings in this game for a bit, and Durham looks more composed and natural in their offensive sets and defensive schemes.
Yeah, it's crazy how just a change of defense can change the momentum of the game. Since Durham has started pressing, that game has taken a different turn here. But Humber, they've got 2 good possession with 2 good drives and offensive rebound. They're hanging in there, so it's still just a 5-point game. Good timeout, though. I like the timeout by Humber. And like I said, that's the 2nd charge already in this game, Mo. Like, both teams are really going at it.
And right now, you look at these numbers as we speak. Durham, 38% from the field. Humber, 35% from the field. Here's a key number for you, Coach. You look at the three-point shooting this year. Humber makes about 7 threes per game. They're 0-7. Durham is 2 of 5 from long range. They make about 6 per game. And you look at the scoreboard, those 2 threes, 6 points, and they're up by 5.
100%. But more importantly, Mo, there's at least 2 threes for Durham that they've missed that were completely wide open threes from Mark Stoop at the top. Great looks.
And you look at Mark Stoop so far in this game, donuts. No points yet for the big man wearing the number 44 shirt. He shepherded them to victory in the second half with J. Sean Elliott 2 weeks ago in the OCAA final. Marnie from the flats. Iron, rebound, reload. Stoop thought about it, new 14. Caleb Carter. Here's the jumper. And that's smooth, coming in from Rashane Smith with a ruthless efficiency to his game. Up by 7, and the fans in green and gold are at the highest octave of happiness. Aloui, he's been the best player for Humber so far. And here he is against Stoop, using his deltoids. Second bite, gets it back. And the 3rd attempt, last touch by who? And this goes back over to Durham. And now you're seeing Coach Miles very expressive. He's been very confident this tournament, and he's not too happy about the physical contact on his team.
No, he feels like they're not getting the whistle right now. I like the zoom action, though, and keeping the dribble alive. They just gotta take it a little bit stronger. Maybe use a shot fake, Mo.
And that pass is sent back down towards Oshawa. And this will go back over towards Humber, and that is now turnover number 7 for Durham in this first half with 6:31 left to go. Frank Rene, Mo Khan on this Saturday night. It is 2 iconic programs in terms of the history in the OCAA. Humber, known to be the blueprint of success at the local and national level. Coach Miles telling us, as I told you before, they don't put up OCAA banners, they put up national banners. That's what they want. It's either national banners or bust in the mind of the Humber athletic departments.
Well, they have a chance to do it here and win in the 5-1-4, a national championship.
And that would be number 8 for them. Menzies, he's a flamethrower off the iron, 0 for 8 from 3, rebound Stoop. And that's been a common theme for these 3-point shooting teams. They have not found the same success as they would in their home gym than at Vanier, and that ball is sent towards Lake Huron.
Yeah, and again, I like the zoom action. My only concern with it was the right decision. Defender went under, but it's a quick shot. And again, the best shots you get are usually those where the defense has to collapse. In that scenario, the defense never collapsed.
Antwi, the guts of this team. Aloui, the poacher of points in this game. From the center arc against Stoop. Here's Antwi again, 5 left in the shot clock. Burke, 2 left in the shot clock. Aloui at the death, that won't count. It was 1 pass too many and not the same pogo stick hops that he needed. And it goes back over to Durham with a 7-point lead ahead.
Yeah, tough break. But if you're Humber now, That was still a great pass, yeah. Unfortunately, a second too late. But if you're Humber, that's a great possession. Now, get back and get a stop on defense.
And back with it now. Could Humber lock it up here? They only gave up 68 points per game, which is number 3 in the OCAA. Durham, number 2 at 67 points per game. Alohi with the rebound. So both teams can lock it down if they wish, and we figure that might be the case now, Coach. Menzies from the flats. 0 for 9. Rebound, Alohi. Alohi can't get to it. Menzies does, and he got that repelled by Stoop. Fahik. And back to Miles Hall, open space, Stoop! And that will be a goaltend. It doesn't matter how you get it, but you get your points one way or another. And for Mark Stoop, he breaks the goose egg for his first 2 points of the evening.
I love the big men running the floor. Great pass ahead of him. He never had to slow down. That was a heck of a pass, a heck of a catch.
Antwi trying to figure out this clue. And the quick hands from Durham. And the quicker hands coming from Menzies. Fahik, Carter, Fahik, well read by Osas Joshua, and he got knocked by Carter, who might have been frustrated by that pass that he tried to get to Fahik. And that will be the first team foul on Durham in this quarter play, Coach.
So for Humber, I'm curious to know or to see when Grant's gonna come back in this game. He's got 2 fouls, but at some point you might need him back in the game.
Timeout call, 4:39 left in this first half of play. It's been a tigerish game so far for Durham in this first half, how they've been able to set the tempo. They took their flurry of punches from Humber in their first 3-4 minutes, but they settled in now, Coach, and they're controlling the narrative going towards the final few minutes in this first half.
Yeah, they've had a few transition opportunities, which always help. In a game that's gonna be so close, where both teams are really defending, any points you can get in transition is bonus mode. So Durham was able to generate a few points in transition. But if you're Humber now, you're stuck at 18. You've got to come up with something to generate a basket. And like I said, they're rotating a lot of bodies right now. So let's see who's going to step up.
They've only scored 2 points in this quarter.
Yep.
Only 2 points in this quarter compared to the 4. So really, it's, even though they've not found the well of offensive success, it's been a meat grinder of a game here where both teams have not found the same cutting edge or that style and profile that they always enjoyed in the OCAA.
Remember what Grant told us after their game on Thursday in the postgame?
You tell me, I forget.
He said that championship game that we lost to Durham, we felt like we were not making shots.
Right.
They were not scoring enough. Well, right now they're in a hole. They got to find a way to score.
Well, Humber has to show no intimidation or fear. Cameron David in the game for the first time. Lucas Lewis from Hamilton, Ontario. Menzies, short. And Menzies had an absolute sitter, and he's missed a whole bunch of shots today. Unfortunate for him, he's only 2 of 7 from the field, but that was at the lip of the cup, and this will be free throws coming up for Jalen Menzies, which stops clock with 4:26 left.
So with number 20 in the game for Humber, Lucas Lewis, that's the 11th player already to touch the floor. So coach is searching for whoever can give him offense right now. He's trying different combinations and trying to figure something that works for them right now.
Free throw converted by Menzies, 67% from Malton, Ontario, 5th-year player. Would love to end off his career with a ring. Rebound Stoop, 4:25 left in this quarter. Miles Hall back at the controls. High-profile rivalry. This game is a fizzing contest. Hall fizzing his way through. Rebound right back to Lewis. And Lewis will bring it back up ahead towards Menzies. He gets around Stoop. Open for the 3. Off the mark is Hayward, and a rebound right back to Lewis. And that was erratic, and that is a travel, and we're going back the other way. And right now, Coach, they're 0 for 9 from long range in this first half.
Yeah, that was a good look, though. So it depends what your philosophy is, but they gotta try to mix it up a little bit here and see if they can get something at the rim. And if you're Durham, look, you've been stuck at 27 as well. So you got to find a way to score too. Both teams got to find their offense now.
Thick end in the last 4 minutes of this first half. Stoop. And that ball is sent right back to Menzies, the easiest steal in his career. Cameron David back at the controls. No Malik Grant. We've not seen him for a while. Kick out, Lewis, and he is fouled by Stoop. And I believe that's Mark Stoop's second personal foul of the evening. And he's got 2 fouls and 2 points to his name. So the big hitters have not been as present as we saw in the first few days of this tournament. And at the line is Lucas Lewis, shooting 60% from the free throw line. He opened the year with 14 points in the win over Niagara and did not score in 9 minutes against Sheridan earlier this season.
Yeah, I like the last possession by Durham on offense. They had Stoop as a passer, and they had Smith who was posting up. Humber decided to full front the post, which means that if they help from the weak side, you could have a skip all the way to the corner on the weak side. Let's see if they go back. No, Stoop just subbed out.
Zach Morris is in now for Stoop.
Yeah, but that's something to keep an eye on if Humber continues to full front the post.
And they're doing this without Malik Grant. Miles Hall with it, 3:22 left in this first half of play. Morris. Here's Carter. Carter for 3. That's off, rebound, right back over towards Brady Clark. And Clark fumbles it, and back to Hall it comes. Can they punish them? They will. And they're up by score 29-21, and they want a timeout here, Humber. Humber calls a timeout, 2:56 left. We'll take a break. Humber, Durham, Lawrence up 29-21, late first half. Welcome back here, Frank Rene Mocon. It's not been the most sublime game of efforts of points for these two teams here. When you think about Durham scoring by 87 points per game, Humber scoring by 88 points per game. But that's been the common theme here in Vanier at the Nationals, that the teams that have been going at a high clip in their own conferences are not finding the same success rate here. And this could be a game that might be first one to 60, if not 70 wins.
Yeah, right now for Humber, this was their 9th turnover. And again, I said it all week, not every turnover is created equal. A live turnover is different than a dead ball turnover. And right now, unfortunately for Humber, they've had multiple live turnovers that resulted in basket for Durham.
Brady Clark breaks the press. Back open from the center ruck, David, around 1. Around 2, Lewis. And he's fouled, and will go to the line for 2 free throws. And he's been a thunderbolt since he's come into the game with the cleanup in his own end and really his presence in the offensive end for Humber.
Yeah, he's been a good revelation off the bench, coming in, and like I said, coaches were searching a little bit, and he came in and he's giving them really, really good minutes.
So Louis coming back in. Malik Grant still on the bench. And so far, if we're looking at Malik Grant for what he's done so far today in terms of his overall efforts, 7 minutes played, no points, and 2 personal fouls.
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy. Coach is really, it seems like he's going to keep him for the second half. Expect to see him play probably the entire second half, though.
And it might be beneficial to keep his legs fresh, too, in this type of game, because it's been a real slow burn of an effort from both teams. 2:33 left in this first half. Open. saved. Right back over, loose ball, and right to David the Cubs. Humber has numbers, and he was caught in two minds. David was caught in two minds. He was trying to make a pass, lost the dribble, and he was called for it. And Coach Miles having a nice laugh with the scorekeeper's table. And with it is Rudy Fahik. 2:20 left in this first half. Marnie. You talk about Coach Rowley, and here is an airborne finish, acrobatic and emphatic by Jay-Sean Elliott. The artistic gravity on display, up by 9.
Yeah, not great defense by Humber, but what a finish.
And Fahik will get it back, and here comes Hall and the Lords. Part 2! And that was incomplete, and here is Menzies. And that will go out of bounds, and we were about to have a postcard that was sent back to Humber's school office that was courtesy of Jay-Sean Elliott.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something. He can really jump. The finish he had, the layup, the play before, he almost took off from the free throw line, Mo. And the ability to just twist and turn and change midair. What a finish by Elliott.
And that would have been your highlight of the night. Here is Jay-Sean Elliott, pirouetting his way through. Rebound right back to Humber. David, 2-on-2. Menzies to the right. David galloping, full on his bike, in for 2. And that's the confidence and arrogance of Cam David coming up with the goods.
Yeah, great job to just gather himself and go up strong with 2 feet.
7-point lead, 1:14 left. Jay-Sean Elliott has become the central figure, and that is a knocked Humber Hawk. And Alui will be called for the foul. And you can see the pantomime reaction coming in from the Humber fan base and bench on that call. And that'll be the 5th team foul, bonus foul coming up here. Roshane Smith will go to the line.
So here's what's happening right now for Humber. Durham has been able to drive the basket a lot the last couple of possessions. And they're finishing, they're not finishing necessarily at the basket right away, but they're drawing so many people to help that now it has opened the offensive glass now. So you got other people getting offensive rebounds. So Humber needs to contain the ball a little bit better.
And right now they're down by 8. 1:05 left in this first half. Menzies. And the one talking point for Humber has been the 3-point shooting and the lack thereof. And this will be a foul called on Durham. And this will be on Roshane Smith. And he thought Rowley was going to tag him out, but he'll keep him in there.
And not only is it important, Mo.
Both bonus fouls right now.
Both bonus, yes. Not only is it important to guard the ball, but also when people are helping, other players need to cover down. They got to rotate on defense.
And Alui missing that first free throw. And his value this year at 57% free throw shooting player. This is a Humber team that shot 62%, making about 14 free throws per game. And 3 times they shot 70% or better. However, 6 games they shot 60% or worse. Fahik underneath, and that was a hog tie. Roshane Smith was hooked, and the Humber Hawk. And that, I believe, is Osas Joshua that was the culprit and will be guilty of that. And it will be Roshane Smith at the line. And all Hawks are circling the referee, asking, wait a minute, we were trying to get ball, and there was this indirect contact.
So because of the shot fake, that got the shot blockers up in the air and unfortunately landed on top of the player. But I don't think it was intentional here. But it was a hard foul though, Mo.
It was slightly hard. It was slightly hard.
Mo, it's the national championship.
Well,
it's going to happen.
Well, the distance between the two schools is only 40 minutes away without traffic. I Googled it this morning, and I'm not too sure if they gave me with or without traffic, so I assume it's without traffic.
Probably.
If it's with traffic, it might be 2 days to get from Humber to Durham with the way the congestion is. But right now, Durham has congested the lanes for Humber in their own end, and Humber's not found the same success, only scored 25 in this first half. Hall dancing, backing off, and now the high-low, and the posterization. Welcome to Sports Center, courtesy of Shane Smith.
What a two-man game, a traditional pick and roll, and the help defense was late. What a finish here.
Louis, and that's a spike ball foul, and he will go to the line, and hopefully we'll get the highlight on that dunk, because Shane Smith just made it onto the highlights, and here it is. And the crowd is still buzzing. That buzz is definitely in the air with these two schools here in Montreal. Louis at the line.
30 seconds left, Mo. If you're Humber, you gotta get a stop before halftime. Get a stop so you get the ball back and you take the last shot.
And right now you can just feel the fox in the box, Shane Smith. Went to deep in his bag of tricks, and Louis hits both. And now an 8-point lead with 28 seconds left in this first half. Fahik back on the controls. Blows by. Extra pass in. And Hall is going to back it up calmly. And was that a walk? They're saying no. There's about 500 Humber Hawk eyes who say otherwise. Hall. And that rims out. Got the wrong side of the rim on that shot. And with 4 seconds left, David Menzies at the death. And that lacked the quality required at the end of the first half. It is Durham 35, Humber 27. The OCAA champions have been ruling the roost, and the OCAA at-large representative, Humber Hawks, have 50 minutes to reconsider and reconfigure the lineup towards the second half of play.
Yeah, what a first half, but we did not expect anything else than this. Great pace of this game. If you're Humber, you're down 7 right now. You're down 8, sorry. So, and you have your best player who barely played in the first half. So, a lot of basketball left to be played. We'll see which team makes the adjustment at halftime.
We'll see indeed what happens over there. Coach Rowley hopefully will be joining us in the next minute or so to talk about what happened in this first half here. Looking at these stats quickly, Humber shooting 26%, Durham nearly 40% at 39.3. And last but not least, top point gunner Shane Smith with 11, Louis with 11. But the big talking point right now is that Humber is 0 for 11 from the three-point range, and that is a big difference in why they're down by 8 going towards the second half of play. So without further ado, we'll be back after this. It is Durham 35, Humber 27 from Vanier College. Welcome back here, halftime, as we get ready for the second half. Durham 35, Humber 27. And, Coach, when you think about it this way, when they played each other a fortnight ago, you know what the halftime score was?
What was it?
Humber 35, Durham 28. So off by a point in that situation right now. But looking at these first half stats, right now, as I said to you before multiple times, the biggest talking point is that Humber is 0 for 11 from three-point range. Jalen Menzies 0 for 6, which is uncharacteristic of him. Meanwhile, free throws 11 for 17 for Durham, 9 for 13 for Humber. But the overall output, though, Malik Grant, that's your guy that you've been high on all week long. Can he be a factor because he had a vacation stay on the bench for free?
Well, he's so talented, and he changes the game so much when he's on the floor. So for Humber now, he's going to be back on. The question is, how do you get him going? If I'm the head coach right now, I'm probably drawing up a quick hitter, something to just get him a quick basket or a quick look to try to get him going. And obviously, the Hawks got to take care of the ball, Mo. 13 turnovers, including at least half that were live ball turnovers. So that's what the Hawks got to do. And if you're Durham, look, you want to keep Humber on their toes, which means the press was really good, just throwing a different look once in a while. And again, offensively, I've said it all tournament, they're really good when Mark Stoop is a passer at the top of the key or at the wing.
Well, we'll see now as Malik Grant is back in the eye of the storm. And you talk about a man who has an eye for points. He is the brain of this operation. We'll see how hungry he is to get these points in their favor. Gold medal 20 minutes away. Humber, Durham. As I said before, a fortnight ago, Humber was up 35-28. Tonight, it is Durham that's up by a score of 35-27 as we move to the final 20 of this game. Could the Hawks bring that Etobicoke heat? Cameron David. A Louis masterclass. Here is the first touch for Grant. Antwi. Pirouetting. Antwi. And that does not go to what they wanted. And here is Miles Hall the other way.
Yeah, I still like the first possession. They're getting a paint touch.
And the Euro step. First class finish. Heavy lift done by Jay-Sean Elliott.
He's having himself a ball game. Remember that emphatic dunk he had in the first half.
And that is a whistle, and that will stop play. Durham, when they lead at halftime, is 11-1 during the regular season. Humber, when they are trailing at halftime this season, Coach, they're 3-0.
So they can come back. They've been there before. But it's one possession at a time.
Antwi down by 10. Here's David. Jab step against Hall. At the death, and that's shot clock violation. No play on. And here's Aloui going strong. And that is a point of discussion. They thought the shot clock violation looked like it, Coach.
Yeah, a bit of confusion here from everybody in the gym. It seemed like we almost heard a whistle, but it's a play on now.
It's all in the pass. Mark Stoop. Extra pass. Hall from the flash, and that's covered very well. Post play in the low block, using the deltoids from the 45. Hall. Bullseye! Up by a score of 40-29, and that silences the Hawks crowd.
Yeah, again, I love it when Mark Stoops at the top of the key. Just the ability to see over the top of the defense.
Taken away by Durham, I beg your pardon, and back over it is. Stoop from the flats. Open from the center right for three. Off the iron, rebound, Marnie off the miss from Elliott, and here is Elliott again as he want to calm down the discussion. Elliott pirouetting, Elliott to the left, Elliott absolutely fine form, the flair and attacking ability, and they're up by 13, their biggest lead of the day. Here is Antwi with his Euro, and right now nothing's going in. David from the 45. And he missed the three. A reload in the paint. Up with the right. Too short. 0 for 2, 0 for 3. Hall's on the go. And Menzies with the pick. And back over to David on the one touch to Louis. And nothing's going in. And one. The harem scarum. Louis is a unit himself, and he gets the points and the harm.
Yeah, way to stick with it. And look, is that the play that will get Humber going? I'm a bit concerned right now with the body language. And as we see Grant telling his bench, let's go, guys, let's go. We got to get it going. So a little bit flat to start the second half here. But let's see if that N1 gets them going, gets them energized.
But Desmond Rowley looks relaxed. And he should be, because they're up by 11, but he knows there's plenty of racetrack left to go in this ball game. Louis at the line. 4 or 5 from the free throw line. He's now on 12 for the night, and they're down by 10. And this is not a chasm yet, but it's a 10-point lead, Coach.
Yes, it is. Let's see if you're Humber, try to switch it up a little bit defensively. Maybe blitz a ball screen. Maybe go to a zone 1 possession.
Jumper, Smith, smooth. The conductor of the orchestra was Elliott, and Smith came up with the tune that's platinum, and they're back up by 12.
Because right now, since the beginning of the second half, Durham has been able to run everything they want on offense.
Antwi. Again at the lip of the cup. Louis clipping out 6. He's his own adventure out there, and they're down by 10 again.
Yeah, he's been amazing for Humber, cleaning up the boards.
He's got that attacking power from the 45. Bullseye! Elliott, 25% from 3, but he puts him up by 13. Humber wobbly at the knees. They have to come back with their own flurry of punches. Louis against Stoop, boxing, turning, and the one-man game does not go to his liking, and back out it comes to Elliott. Here's Marnie, and they want to calm it down with this game in their control. The narrative, the storyline, Durham looking for their first CCAA championship since '97. Here's the kick out. Here is Hall. Technique, flawless.
Yeah, right now, it's as simple as dribble drive action. They're beating their men on the perimeter and finding the shooters.
Too strong. Louis, and that's been the common denominator right now. Nothing going from long range, and Louis there to clean it up, but cannot carry the load himself. Here is Hall. And that was very ambitious off the window and right back in the hands.
Yeah, coach is not too happy about that shot.
Corner pocket 3. Splash. Osas Joshua coming up with the 3, and that was the tonic required at this point in the game.
Yeah, that's why the coaching staff of the Lords were not too happy about that shot. A bad three-point shot usually results in a long rebound. And
denied. Here comes Antwi. Louis on the go. And a two-handed 10.0 slap.
And we have a great timeout by Durham right now. So when you take a bad shot, Mo, especially a three-pointer, most of the time it's going to result in a leak-out opportunity. And that's exactly what happened. Humber got their first three-pointer of the game off that bad shot. And now all of a sudden they get a stop, they get a run out, a dunk. So great stretch by Humber now. But if you're Durham, it's not because you're up 10, you're up 12, up 13, that you gotta start taking bad shots. Right now, you're able to get paint touches pretty much anytime you want off dribble penetration. Keep doing it until Humber adjusts.
And we see from the first half highlights right there. And again, right now for Coach Rowley, his first time out comes in at this point of the game. But for Humber, they have to figure out how to become much more prominent than where they were before. And this 5-0 run could be the passport that gets them back into this game.
Well, one thing for Humber to look at. So Mark Stoop, who's guarding number 14, Adrian Aloui from Humber, he's gapping him completely. So he's waiting in the paint area. So maybe you can use Aloui as a screener. That's going to create a 2-on-1 for your offense.
And Rudy Fahik, the calming presence back in the game. Elliott, Burke on him, help away. Stoop in the paint, Fahik for the 45. Rebound, one and done, and away comes Humber with the ball on the Durham miss. Burke will bang it back out. Malik Grant very quiet so far, Marnie on him. Grant in, stopping, looking, kicking. Burke from the center arc. And that's off the heel, and right by Burke it goes from Stoop, who was very cheeky on the dribble. Elliott's 4:15 left in this third quarter play. 11-point lead for Durham. 10 left on the shot clock. Down low, in the trees, nothing. Reload, and that might be a charge, and we are going the other way as Elliott went in like a running back into the end zone.
Yeah, better possession defensively from Humber. Moving their feet, sliding their feet, and staying in front of the ball. That was a really good possession. I like the last one also with Grant beating his man. We could clearly see that Durham is trying to make sure that they show bodies when Grant has the ball, which means guys are gonna be open. You gotta be ready to shoot or cut if you're a player on the Humber squad.
So Osas Joshua back in for Antwi, Caleb Carter back in. I just saw Caleb Carter's dad in the hallway. Big fan of you, Frank. Big fan of you. Caleb Carter's dad. Big fan of you, my friend. And right now, he's a big fan of the scoreboard because his son's team was up by 11 with 3:50 left in this third quarter play. Malik Grant on the turn. Osas Joshua trips up. He's got one ring. Brady Clark looking, kicking. Burke from the 45. Right down Rexdale Boulevard. And they're back in the game, down by 8.
Again, great possession on offense. They're going with a screen at the top and they're curling it, which forced the defense to collapse. And they got a wide open look.
And right now, Louis on 20. Fahik, quick hands from the elbow. And that is serene by him. And you talk about him, he is definitely the blink of an eye of a field goal shooter.
He's, you talked about it, Mo, when he came in. He calms things down for this Durham squad. That was a big, big shot.
Dwayne Burke has been the X factor. And right now, from Lee Grant, he's been no factor for the Humber Hawks. Fahik losing his steps, and back over it comes to Marnie. And Caleb Carter back over to Fahik. Fahik dancing, looking from the center arc. Short on that, Brady Clark with the rebound. And here is Grant on the go. In open space, and here is the open space of the flats. Osas Joshua on the end line. And he overcooked that shot.
Yeah, if I'm Grant, I thought that was a great opportunity for him to take it to the rim in transition where there's a little bit more space.
And that's last touch by Malik Grant, and Antwi will come back in along with Miles Hall, who was locked in as a flamethrower with those three-point shots he had early in this third quarter.
And Mo, when you sit out most of the first half like Grant did, almost the entire first half, you lose your rhythm. So for right now, the three-point shot might not be the best option to go to right now. You got to find a way to get on the glass and get to the rim to get yourself going here.
Frank Rene Mo Khan on this championship Saturday in the jungle, in for two. And that's courtesy of Shane Smith, and they're back up by 12.
What a pass. I'm telling you, Mark Stoops' passing is underrated.
Almost Arvydas Sabonis-like.
Yes.
Not Domantas, Arvydas Sabonis. Antwi. And the corkscrew does not go through for him. Hall on the go. Brady Clark on his hip. Well read by Grant. They got to convert points now, Humber. Antwi waiting for the reinforcements. Brady Clark denied. Marnie, 2-on-1. Is it highlight time? It's a foul instead. And he's going to the line. And he caught Humber napping on that transition play. And he's going to the free throw line.
Oh, and he read that to perfection. But again, that's my issue if you're Humber now. I know it's the new way of playing basketball, but you're in transition. You have an advantage. Find a way to break down the defense. And sometimes the best three-point shot are coming once you broke down the defense in transition. So you got to get something going at the rim if you're the Hawks right now.
If there's one downfall for Marnie's game, it's his free throw shooting. Not the best free throw shooter this season. And we talk about, again, the Durham free throw shooting 53%, which was 20th in the OCAA during the regular season. And back in the game to Louis, and he's on 20 points. Top point getter, there's actually 3 at 13 right now for Durham. Hall, Smith, Elliott have combined for 39 of the 55 points for Durham this evening.
And that's their key. That's their key card, Durham. Balanced attack mode. Multiple guys chipping in.
Antwi with it. Marnie eyeball to eyeball. Antwi dancing, going in, around Stoop, off the window in. A complete reinvention by the Mozart of basketball for Humber in Antwi. Down by 11 a minute to go in this third quarter of play. No nails for any Humber or Durham fan as we speak. Hall has got 5 left in the shot clock. Here is Stoop. Jab step in. And that is a whistle, and that will be a foul called against Humber with 43.6 left.
Yeah, Durham went to their classic horn set, and it was a very basic set. Whichever side they were going to use, that screener was going to dive, and the other one was going to pop. And because Humber is worried about Mark Stoop's ability to shoot the 3, they overplayed a little bit, which opened the drive to the basket and the foul.
So, with that, is Antwi's 3rd personal foul. You see quite the difference in the body composition of the players on each bench. Durham a little bit more upright, and Humber a little bit more sullen in how they are expressing themselves right now, down by 11.
Well, credit to Durham, because Humber went on a mini run, and Durham has really answered the call.
And that's an 0-4, and Louis, and that's last touch by Durham. And you talk about Omar Miles, he's looking to really politic some calls in his favor because he feels like his team has not been given the benefit of the doubt in certain situations.
Yep.
Here goes Menzies, and here is Antwi. 38 seconds left in this third quarter from Vanier College. The 2025 Men's National Championship on the line. Grant. Louis against Stoop. Using his deltoids. Louis, head fake, over, smooth. And you can see him now, the physical drill that he is, coming up with a big 2-pointer right there.
Yeah, great elevation over the defense. Can Humber get a stop here to close the third quarter?
Carter. Rebound on Louis, 6 seconds left. Menzies is on the go, 3 seconds left. Menzies going at the death. And he's fouled, and he will get 2 free throws, which is almost like a belated Christmas gift at the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, that's a big-time play. They're down 9.
Could be down 7.
They could be down 7 now at the end of the third quarter.
So they're going to talk about the table for the foul. And so Jalen Menzies at the line. He's fizzled out from the 3-point range so far. But today, Menzies is on 5 points. He's 1 of 2 from the free throw line.
Yeah, let's see if they add time. Yeah, they're going to add 0.5 seconds.
So a chance to get off a forensic shot with the fingertips.
Yes.
Jalen Menzies at the line. And that is a valuable free throw. They're now 11 of 15 from the free throw line today. Second attempt for Jalen Menzies. And they're down by 7.5 left. And at the end of 3, 1 quarter remains. That stands in the way for either Durham or Humber to be the Canadian National Champions. We'll be back here from Vanier College at the 2025 CCAA Men's Nationals. Welcome back here, Frank Renee Mocon on this Saturday night, championship Saturday night, and it's been a huge talking point for Humber right now. Malik Grant, the OCAA Player of the Year. So far, 0 for 1, no points, and we're now going to the fourth quarter. And that could be the difference in why Humber could lose this game if it does not get going in this fourth quarter, Coach.
Well, to me, it's not so much the 0 point. It's the one attempt only. That is not enough. That's why, as a coach, you gotta have a little something, a little set play. Try to get him going because he's too good of a player. Even if he doesn't score, he attracts so much attention. I would still try to get him going. And if you're Humber, you're going one possession at a time.
That's all they can do right now. The vim and vigor in this game has been phenomenal with these two teams. Miles Hall has been exquisite, sumptuous, pristine at times with his control and mastery of this game. Byline it goes. Marty can't finish. Right there is Rashawn Smith, who's been nerveless in the paint for Durham so far today.
Yeah, and again, if I'm Durham in this fourth quarter, I keep getting Stoop involved in all action. Great things happen when he's involved in the screen or as a passer.
Aloui feed the machine, and you see the machine come up, the creator and a serial scorer, and they're down by 7.
He's been unbelievable. He's got 24 points, 9 rebounds, almost a double-double.
Miles Hall, help from Aloui. Stu was fancying that shot. Aloui took that away. 6 left in the shot clock. Pirouetting down the Marty! Having a stormer of a finish, and they're up by 9.
So, they were very successful in the second quarter with cutters from both corners on the baseline. Great drive. I don't think you need to overhelp if you're Humber.
Grant can't buy a bucket. Aloui has been buying buckets, and he has been definitely creator-in-chief for this Humber attack.
Mo, what's crazy is this is only a 7-point game. Like, they're right there.
It feels like it's 14.
Yes.
Hall, he's got space. Hall always deep. And they're up by 9.
Yeah, great drive. Hall recognizes that there is no help defender, and miscommunication on the screen at the top. Just turns the corner and takes it to the basket.
Brady Clark on the byline. The fade. Rebound, Aloui, new 14. Clark from the 45. And he misses that. He's 0 for 2 in that possession. Long ball, Marnie in stride. Touchdown. Timeout call by Humber. They're up by 11, Durham, with 7:40 left here in this fourth quarter. And this is not the right body shape that Humber wants at this point in the game.
No, anytime we take a shot, it depends on your philosophy. But most of the time, whoever shoots the 3 should be the first man back. If that's not the case, you need to have a long or a safety. Right now, bad transition defense, and that's unacceptable. You're trying to come back in this game, and on a missed 3, you give a wide open dunk in transition. That's just not going to cut it for the Hawks.
And right now, they have had remarkable freedom, the Durham Lords. No one thought they'd be in this position. Remember, this is a team that's not won the CCAA national title since 1997, Frank.
Yeah.
And who do they beat? As we said at the top of the broadcast, they beat these Humber Hawks to be the national champs. And now they're literally less than 8 minutes away from ringing them once again for the title.
Yeah, and right now, my concern with Humber is Durham is able to get pretty much anything they want on offense. Whether they're running their horn set, whether they're running an action through Stoop at the top and getting cutters from each corners on the baseline. Like, Humber needs to figure out a way to get stopped and get Durham uncomfortable on offense.
And right now, Durham has really attacked the pressure points of Humber's attack. Right now, Durham is in form, Humber is out of form, but he has to get back in form with 7:30 left in this fourth quarter play. And this man can do it. Malik Grant, Antwi for three. He overcooked that. Burke clean up an L6, and he can be a firebrand for this Humber attack.
He's been unbelievable, keeping them in this game.
Hall against Stoop. Louis on him. 5 left in the shot clock. The fade. Iron, rebound, loose ball, last touch by Elliott, and this will go back over. And this is where Humber has to convert on missed chances for points without reply, Coach.
Yeah, that was a great defensive possession. And on that sequence, they switched the screen at the top, which kind of canceled any advantage that Durham had. But you're right, they got to score here. Can they get a back screen or a flex screen or something going at the rim?
So there's a foul on Jay-Sean Elliott, and that's a first-team foul. And that's his 4th personal foul, and the Humber supporters giving him a nice send-off with 6:48 left. Antwi. Can they find some points in robust efforts? Antwi watched by Marnie. Antwi in with the right, too strong. Rebound, Louis can't get to it, and recovered this time by Zach Morris. Caleb Carter back on the gallop. And in the plus territory they go, 6:25 left in this fourth quarter. And a quick pass from Burke, and he got his hand caught in the cookie jar, and we're going back the other way.
So Humber had success in the first half when they were running a simple rub screen and a curl from the weak side on offense. Maybe they can go back to this.
Burke, the X factor, tripped up, and what will be the call?
Yeah, it should technically be a clear path foul here.
And it appears Dwayne Burke got hit in a particular area. And that will be that. So it comes at a time, Coach, with 6:21 left. It stops the clock. Right. They get an opportunity for a couple of points here and maybe get this down towards what could be a 7-point deficit.
Yeah, and more importantly, for those that don't know, after the free throw, Humber is going to keep the ball. So they get the free throw, plus they get the ball back. So that could be an opportunity for them to really cut down in this league. Lead.
So it is Louis at the line. A test of fiber, heart pounding the back of the rib cage. And that is what you call smooth from the hottest property right now for the Humber Hawks and Louis.
And by the way, Mo, we've been hard on the referees this week, but I appreciate when the referees get together, they discuss it, and they get the right call.
Or they could be discussing who's going to buy dinner afterwards.
Yeah, maybe.
Perhaps that could be the answer right now. So they get the ball back. They're down by 7, 6:21 left here.
Yep.
And this could be a real pendulum swing for Humber if they convert on this possession. Louis against Stoop. Eyeball to eyeball. Louis, masterclass, could not get the fish. Second by the cherry, and one. A moment of magic. Louis. He is the Toronto Dynamite, and they're down by 5 with 6:08 left in this game.
Yeah, his ability to get on the glass and grab his own miss, that's unbelievable.
It has not been mapped out probably for Humber, but they're back in this game if they hit this free throw for Louis.
So he's so quick. As soon as he misses, as soon as he releases, he knows if he's gonna miss and gets right back up to grab his miss and put it back.
Predator instincts is what it is for the hottest property for Humber. And he hits that one. Plenty of bite, plenty of time, jangling nerves for who? And you can see Humber is starting to really fizz up here in this game.
Yep, it's a 4-point game, Mo, and there's a lot of basketball left to be played.
If you're a neutral, this is exciting. If you are a fan of either team, you are very, very nervous.
So I like that from Humber, finally giving them a different look defensively. It seems like they might go into a 2-3 zone here.
Could Humber break the will of Durham at this point in this game?
It doesn't have to be for multiple possessions, but sometimes just for one possession, changing the look, that could be beneficial.
Miles Hall, 2-3 zone. Can they pick the lock of the zone for Durham? Hall. Nowhere to go, cul-de-sac, nowhere to go. 6 seconds left, and this is gonna be a foul on Humber. Osage Joshua will be called for that. Durham was dead to rights on that possession, and that might swing it back towards Lords.
Yeah, that was close, but that's the right call. Unfortunately, it was not quite there, but I love the energy now. Humber is back in this game.
Hall on the side out, 5:49 left. This chess match takes on a different meaning of the board game.
Yeah, if you're Durham, gotta go back to Stoops here.
Rashane Smith, Burke on him. Quick hands, Osage Joshua diving out there, and the arrow pointing towards Humber with 5:42 left in this ballgame. 4-point lead for the Lords. And as we speak, Coach, when we look at this number right now, Humber has scored 11 to the Durham's 8. And the acoustics has just picked up. And it's coming from the Humber fans. Grant, is it his time? Osage Joshua, champion of 22. Grant's got 10 left in the shot clock. Help along the way. Stoop on support from the flats. Splash! They're back in the game, down by 1.
They overplayed on the drive from Grant, and they found a wide open player in the corner. Great execution. If you're Durham, you don't want to help from the corner same side. You want to just stunt and stay with shooter.
They need a basket badly. Hall. And that was overcooked, and that's going out of bounds. And as we said before, it is now Humber in form, Durham out of form. 4:56 left here, Coach. And momentum is in whose corner?
Oh, it's definitely Humber now. Look, Jason Elliott is back in the game. He's been big for Durham, but their execution on offense hasn't been great the last couple possessions. They got to get back to running something on offense.
Malik Grant, here is David. 4:45 left in this game. The battle of wits between these two teams. David watched by Elliott. Here is David again. Here is Grant. Right down Rexdale Boulevard. Who is he? He is him. They're up by 2.
With the one-leg three-pointer.
Picked off. Stoop recovers in time. Still a fight for it. Still a fight for it. Aloy and Stoop jump ball should be Durham's ball. And Elliott trying to politic with the referee. And you see Aloy, he is gassed out on his last reserves in his energy pack.
Again, if you're Durham right now, you gotta run something. You gotta run either your zoom action, either your horn set. Get into something on offense here.
Aloy trying to get his fan base going through. Backdoor, Marnie, head fake, denied by Grant. And he gives him the jump. 4:15 left in this ballgame, 2-point lead for Humber. David. Stoop, fouled. The control and mastery of Cameron David results in free throws coming up here. 4:06 left, fourth team foul on Durham, 2 on Humber.
Yep, using a simple shot fake, getting Stoop in the air, and that's his 4th personal foul. And Mo, that gym is loud right now.
It's slightly loud. It's just louder than the library.
No.
As I've said at the beginning of this tournament, and to where we are now, Coach, it's unscripted poetry with these two teams finishing off this final game on gold medal Saturday nights. Lead back in hand. It's been a while. Last time Humber had a lead was by 7, and they were up with 5:16 left. That's been the largest lead. And the Durham fan base, you talk about some of the crazies, they are definitely up there. They are intense, and I love it. And if you love basketball, this is your spot to be right now. South of 4-point lead. Here is Stoop on 4 personal fouls. Hall, and that ball is sent back to Oshawa. Is it time to take a timeout if you are Durham, just to kind of calm things down here, Coach?
Yeah, so here's what's tough. They took a timeout already, so I think the coaching staff is thinking it might be a close game. Are we better off keeping both timeout? I think it's the right call. I would keep both. But again, Durham has not been able to run anything on offense the last 3 possessions. And credit to Humber.
Grant, technique, flawless. Bullseye on the way. They're up by 7. And right now, the GPS data is pointing towards Humber's way of momentum, Coach.
Yeah, they had no choice but to take a timeout now if you're Durham. Look, Grant has been struggling. He had to sit the majority of the first half, and he just came up huge in the last couple of minutes. If I'm Durham now, there's still a lot of basketball left to be played. Here's what I'm running if I'm Durham. I'm going back to that horn action with Stoops and maybe get Elliott in the corner. Off the roll, see if you can get cutters on the corner. You've been very successful at it. Or maybe run a little something, a kind of a Spurs action or a cross screen to get something close to the basket. Right now, it's all about confidence. They need something easy on offense.
7-point lead for Humber over Durham. In a matter of 4 blinks, it's been Durham. And right now, Humber, I beg your pardon, Humber went from a team in chaos to now smelling like roses with 3:39 away from them perhaps being your national champions.
It's crazy how a game can change so quickly, Mo. We talk about the game of runs, but the psychology that goes behind it. A team that dominated most of the game right now looks like they're not sure, they're uncertain. So if you're Durham, embrace the moment, answer the call now.
And here's a guy who could be a calming influence, Rudy Fahik. When they were down against Braebuff, he came in and he said, "Put it on me, boys, I'm gonna carry the load," and he did.
I like it, back to their horn set, I like it.
Hall in, layup. And that's what they needed. He kept his nerve, and now they're down by 5 with 3:19 left in this ballgame.
Yeah, great play calling out of the timeout. That's what I was talking about, getting to something structured here.
Osage Joshua. And here is Cameron David, watched by Fahik. What do they have in the bag of tricks? And that is going to help. Jay-Sean Elliott, flight 12. And he took a hard tumble. He took a hard tumble, and now the point of contention for Durham is Jay-Sean Elliott, if he is injured or hurt, and they need him to be available because they need him for the final 2:56.
Yeah, he looks like he's going to be okay, but that was a hard foul. What a steal, playing the passing lane. Playing the passing lane, and going with an emphatic finish.
And now it's a 4-0 run for Durham, just like that. 2:56 left here, untimed timeout, and Jay-Sean Elliott, the concern is his health. And he landed hard on the dunk, and sometimes those violent dunks, you lose control of your body in midair, and you don't have that leverage.
Well, that's why we tell players all the time, hang on the rim a little bit just to get your momentum back under the basket. Because when you're jumping off 1 feet, it's hard to maintain your balance.
To look at Durham, you look at Humber, and the flawless status with these two teams has been excellent. And now Marnie will come back in the game. And right now, Hall on 17, Rashane Smith on 17, Elliott on 15, 31 points for Louis. Louis scored nearly half the points for Humber tonight. Malik Grant on 6. He scored all 6 in the last change or so. Here is Grant, open space. Menzies. Rebound, loose ball. Aloui in the jungle. Aloui again. Aloui. And this is going the other way. And Aloui landed awkwardly on his left side. He might be cramping up here, Coach.
Oh. Let's hope he's okay.
I think he is cramping up. Does anyone have mustard or pickle juice?
Yeah, they gotta. Let's see if the therapist can pull miracles here to get him back in this game. They're gonna need him. If I'm Durham right now, go back to your horn set. You've been so good with it. Go back to it.
Fluent and flowing. Relentless and beautiful this game has been. It's a 3-point lead. Fahik for the tie. Off the iron, rebound, and that is over the back. Jay-Sean Elliott. And the margins start to get smaller and smaller with 2:25 left in this ball game.
Wow, and that's unfortunately that's his fifth personal foul.
And Jay-Sean Elliott, his race is run, and that's bad news for Durham because now they got to go into the toolbox to find the right wrench to get this game back in their favor.
So, more importantly, that's also bonus. So now they're shooting free throws.
And right now, you can just see the exhaustion, the physical toll this game has taken on these players. And Dwayne Burke.
Yeah, he's gonna have to sub out now.
Yeah, he can't. He's on his 4s right now. And Osas Joshua will come in to tag in as Burke tags out.
Yeah.
And Osas Joshua will become the isolated figure for these free throws. This year, 82% from the line. So in a way, it's a perfect trade-off because Dwayne Burke is only 56% from the line this season. And unfortunately for Osas Joshua, it comes at the wrong time to miss a free throw. To make this a 2-score game. They're up by 4, 2:25 left. The clock going super slow for Humber, too fast for Durham. Plenty of time to get back in this game. Fahik. And this remains Durham ball, 15 left in the shot clock, but you look at the end product for Durham, it's been lacking this fourth quarter, not as dominant as it was in the second and third quarters.
Yeah, they tried to run their horn action here, but they were not balanced on the floor. So let's see if they can get back to it. I would mix it up here. Maybe go to something more inside. Just give a different look.
2:14 left in this ball game. Here is Stoop. Fahik, not many possessions left in this ball game. Can they catch in on what they have? Stoop, off the backboard, rebound Grant. Long ball to Menzies, opening, Osas Joshua. Well denied by Fahik. 1:55 left in this ball game. 3-on-1, Fahik off the window, using the geometry to his liking, and now it's a 1-point lead.
Mo, it's the new NBA, Mo. It's the new NBA.
The arteries are starting to clog up tension for both these teams. Someone's got to breathe and make points. 1:40 left. Grant. Grant, finger roll, too strong. Rebound, Stoop. 7-1 run for Durham since the timeout call. 1:28 left in this ball game. Fahik. Caleb Carter. Post play coming in for Rasheen Smith. 5 left in the shot clock. Back out, Fahik. Quick hands. Fahik. Stoop. Shot clock violation. A lot of passing and very static offensive movement, Coach.
Yeah, what a shot in transition. That's what the new NBA has done to basketball now. You have a 3-on-1 and you shoot a 3. Look, Mo, anybody who's watching at home right now, if you make that shot, great. If you miss it, though, that would have been a killer for Durham. But big-time players make big-time shots, so we have a 1-point game here.
Cameron David back with it. 1 minute left in this ball game. Malik Grant, David, overload to the right, eluding the post. 8 left in the shot clock. David, still David. Burke, off, rebound, new 14. 45 seconds left in this ball game.
Grant has to touch the ball here. He hasn't touched the ball in that possession.
Now he does. From the 45, pressure makes diamonds. And Malik Grant is a jewel amongst the crown gem. And here is Menzies. And he's fouled by Stoop. 29.9 left, 4-point lead.
Look, tough break on the turnover. Great recovery by Stoop to prevent the wide open layup. What a shot by Grant.
Right now, Durham cannot contain the fizz from Malik Grant from the bottle.
No, and the mental toughness to stick with it, even though you're struggling, and make the shots when it mattered. That's exactly what he has done in this game.
Menzies to look to add the insurance policy, up by 4, 29.9 left. And that keeps Durham alive. Still a 2-score lead. Menzies. Missed both. Rebound, Menzies. Can he redeem himself? They're killing off more seconds. Burke. And this is going to go back to David. Here is Grant. 20 seconds left, and they finally fouled. They killed off nearly 8.5 seconds from the clock, down to 20.5.
Yeah. And Grant with a chance to pretty much, I mean, there's still 20 seconds left, but if he makes both, that would be a tough break for Durham here.
Malik Grant. Adding the insurance policy. Up by 5, 2 scores required.
I'm surprised we haven't called a timeout for Durham. I mean, now if he makes this one.
Do you call a timeout to advance the ball, though?
Of course, 100%.
And now 20.7 left. They're not calling timeout. They're going to go last action here. Hall off the mark. Rebound, loose ball. 13.4 seconds left in this fourth quarter. And Menzies. Durham might be the Lord of Ontario, but for the 8th time in school history, Humber are the Kings of Canada. They're your 2025 CCAA champions.
Wow. A bit of confusion at the end, but look at this scene now. Humber trailing for the majority of this game. And coming back in the fourth quarter, as you see the coach celebrating with his families and friends. I mean, Humber, for these guys now, they're part of history mode. What a game on display here. What a game.
Delight for Humber, despair for Durham, and the big talking point for Coach Rowley was that he tried to call a timeout, but there was a miscommunication and play went on and something happened. It was a breakdown in communication, Coach.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. I'll be honest, I did not hear him call a timeout either. So there was clearly a miscommunication, but still it was a 6-point game. It would have been tough for them to probably win this game, but Humber well deserved as we see the final stats here. How about Adrian Alui, 31 points, 12 rebounds, including a big-time tip at the end to keep and give an extra possession to Humber. But those two teams put on a show for the last game of this national championship. And credit to Durham as well. They had to beat a powerhouse in Brébeuf to get here. And wow, what a game.
It fizzled out for Durham in the second half, unfortunately for them. They were outscored by 13 in this fourth quarter. And if you go back to the OCAA final that they had a fortnight ago, Durham outscored Humber 39-26 in the second half. Tonight, Humber outscored Durham 49-35 in the second half.
Yeah, and look at those. In the fourth quarter, Humber 28, Durham 15. So they really got it going. And Malik Grant came up so big with 3 3-pointers at crucial time in this game. I said it in the pregame, Mo. This game was gonna come down to who can make shots, because both teams similar style, and that's exactly what it came down to. Humber was able to make big time buckets when they needed to.
This probably might go till Monday. School's back at Vanier on Monday. These fans may not leave till like Tuesday. It is a party and a half right now, and it's an emotional scene. Tears of joy and tears of happiness. And right now, it is tears of pain for Durham because they had Humber on the ropes, but could not administer the knockout blow. And their long waits. It's been 10,220 days since they last won the CCAA championship. It will now be extended for at least another year. It took 28 years, but Humber beats Durham at the national championship level.
Shout out to my assistant, Carissa Tapia. She's going to be giving up the player of the award, player of the game. A well-deserved player of the game. 31 points, 12 rebounds, 1 block, 1 steal. Amazing performance.
I think he's got the Versace's on right now. And he can definitely be him. Who is he? He is him. This game had flair, it had pace, it had ability, it had everything that you would imagine from the 2 best teams in Ontario in this street fight in Montreal. It is now time for the medal and awards presentation, and we will be joined by the Humber Hawk players and staff members as soon as they're done with this whole presentation. And both will make their way onto the court for the bronze medal. And we talk about Durham, Coach. It's heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking because they had it, and unfortunate for them, Humber just maintained their focus and just got that on them. It almost was a carbon copy of what happened 2 weeks ago in Humber that has played out in Vanier, where Durham had lost their will in the first half against Humber, and they came back to win it, and it reversed roles here, and this is what happened now.
Good evening. Just want to thank the officials, Vanier, the staff today, the student athletes. It was an outstanding tournament, outstanding final. Everybody have a safe trip home.
Thank you very much, Sean. First up, the Exemplary Leadership Award. Le prix de leadership exemplaire est remis à l'individu au championnat canadien de la CCAA qui avec preuve de leadership et donne l'exemple. Les gars vont construire l'excellence dans le sport en respectant la règle et l'esprit et respecter les officiels et accepter leurs décisions, respecter l'adversaire et faire preuve de l'esprit sportif de la activité en toutes circonstances. The CCAA Exemplary Leadership Award is given to individuals at the CCAA Canada who demonstrate leadership leaders that set an example for others to follow. Recipients must have respect for the rules and spirit of the rules, and at the sport, pursue excellence, respect the officials, and show acceptance in their decisions, respect their opponent, and take the sportsmanlike behavior, and maintain dignity under all circumstances. To present the CCAA Exemplary Leadership Award, please welcome CCAA Director and Men's Basketball Championship Coach.
You see the tears of emotions as well from some of the Humber players.
They're excited. They can't wait to celebrate.
And UNB St. John accepting their award. And it means the coach bought after in the VIP room. They only lose 2 guys. They're going to be loaded up for next year.
Wow.
Look at those awards, huh? They've really increased the budgets for these awards, huh?
Yeah, they're pretty nice.
And that's not Jack Miller.
That's not.
If it was, we might have a bit of an issue with the Jack Miller being in. But Jack Miller has definitely been tremendous during this tournament, though. So Isaac Pierre-Louis winning tournament all-star member.
Yep. Well deserved as well.
Yeah, he
had big
definitely played
games.
well. Did very well. And here's Mark Stoop, who will get that award.
Also well deserved. Such a matchup problem for most teams.
It's gonna be a long bus ride for Durham back home. You know, it's before Oshawa's before Toronto, but it's not gonna feel the same for these guys because they know they could have been a double cup champion. And Jason Elliott, he was wonderful.
So that was the second team all-star.
Second team all-stars. My apologies. I thought it was the first.
It's a pretty great group of guys.
They might win.
Second
Those
team
5
all-star.
guys might win it all if they wanted to go second team all-stars versus the best of CCAA. It's you know, coach, you know this line better than anyone else. Being a women's head coach in sports, you're going to lose more than you win in terms of championships. And Humber is definitely the epitome of what it is as a national program. And here's Jeremy Lalonde-Hines, who will get a nice hoodie. It seems like he's very happy with the hoodie.
I mean, we're heading towards summer, Mo.
I mean, our summer is really
Slowly.
like 2 days long. So Edouard Gauthier, who is going to, in all likelihood, move on from Bray Buff, I beg your pardon. And he will have his looks down south as well. So he will definitely be on the radar for sure. Miles Hall, he had a slow start out of the gates, but he picked it up, and he became the engine for this team. But unfortunately, the engine ran out of the gas in the fourth quarter. He was monstrous in the third quarter with his three-point bombing, and just couldn't find it in the fourth quarter. He just lost that touch. A lot of overcooked shots by him, but he was phenomenal for Durham in this tournament.
Still a great tournament for him.
Jalen Menzies getting the individual award as well. And he had an almost heart-of-mouth moment with his 2 missed free throws that kept them alive, but he killed off the game at the end. And this is the man of the hour, the flavor of the month, the hottest property on Humber campus, Adrian Louis.
He really carried the Hawks in the championship game when things were not clicking. He was the one bright spot early, and I would say consistently for that championship game.
And he definitely was. Next time Durham does play Humber, OCAA playoffs. Because of the divisions, they're in the East and the West division.
Okay.
So Malik Grant's the MVP in Ontario, and he's the MVP of Canada. He was shut out in the first half, but he had a roaring second half. And the king of kings, the lion that he is, he came up with the goods.
So that's what MVPs do, Mo. Yes, he had 11 points in the second half, but 2 blocks, 2 steals, 1 important assist for a corner 3.
And that's what kickstarted the comeback for Humber.
So the timing of the plays, and like I said live, the short-term memory, being able to move on to the next play, despite the early struggle, that's what makes you an MVP.
Brandon Stone about to present the bronze medals to the head buff, Mike Chmielewski and his team.
Les cheveux?
Les cheveux, Mike Chmielewski. That is a line that was made famous by Wee Papa, Peter Yiannopoulos, who was the former assistant coach at Champlain St. Lambert, who was my broadcast partner for the 2013 and 2014 men's and women's nationals.
He's now a celebrity.
He is a celebrity
no time for us.
On RDS, TSN. And he's earned that right. So. And, you know, regardless, look, Durham, obviously, silver's not what he came for. You know, but a medal's a medal.
Yes.
And it's a program builder for you to sell to potential recruits, saying, look, you could be that next guy. You could be the Malik Grant for us that can win us a gold next year at VIU.
Oh, 100%. And you're right, Mo. I mean, look, you're still the second best team in the country right now.
Absolutely.
So, not the result you wanted, but you can be really proud of your season. And you still won the OCAA championship. So a great season for the Durham Lords.
A phenomenal season. And when you watch that OCAA playoff Final Four, it was unbelievable basketball. I love basketball across this country, but Ontario has probably the premier level of talent of what is in that population, of how many teams they have and what can happen on any given day. And Durham won Ontario, which probably, some might argue, it might be the hardest thing to do than to win a nationals, because in Ontario you have 20 teams and it's like one glitch and that's it. So there's no shame at all to be the Ontario champions going towards next season.
No, 100%. And let's not forget, Mo, we had some great semis as well with that Quebec-Ontario battle.
It lived up to the hype.
It was 100%.
It lived up to the hype, and it was definitely a hype worthwhile. And what a game. So Brave Up, bronze medal winners, defeated Vanier earlier tonight. I'm not sure when Durham's going to watch that game. It may be a while before they put that game film on. But I'm sure for the Humber Hawks on the way home to Toronto, they might have a game on repeat for the next 5.5 hours, 6 hours going back home.
Yeah. And what a great championship here too, Mo. We'll have time at the end probably to thank everybody, but the volunteers, the referees, it's been a great 4-day.
You just did it now.
Yeah, it's been a great 4 days.
It's been an amazing 4 days. It's been an amazing 4 days. I know the rotation's once every 5 years for Quebec, but this is now the second consecutive tournament in Quebec in 2018, now 2025 because of COVID delaying 2 years. That and an Ontario team has won in Quebec. Seneca won over Douglas at Seja Montmorency, and tonight it is Humber, your national champions in Quebec, on Quebec soil.
And it's a lot of work hosting a national championship, Mo.
It goes a year out.
It's a year of preparation. You know, we've had multiple meetings trying to prepare everything, and I think that the entire staff did a great job.
And we'll get to that in our closing remarks here. And it's crazy, Coach, because you come into the season, you know, September is when everyone really gets back into school, the camps, you do the non-conference tournament games, playing schools out of your conference, and then it starts in mid-October for Quebec, and then late October for other conferences. And you see yourself, man, we're so far away from nationals, and here we are, we're done. And now the gold medals are being presented to the Durham, to the Humber Hawks, that is.
Yes, and for all these teams, training camp is going to come really fast next year in September. So,
it's only 6 months away.
Yeah, it's going to come so fast. So they're all going to get back in the gym in a few weeks, ready to work on their weaknesses.
I cannot wait to see the ring for Humber. For those that have Omar Miles on social media, that ring is a 20-table ring. You can see it's from 20 tables down from where you're positioned. '76 semifinal. We forgot to mention that. It was 70-63 for Humber over Durham, and then Durham went on a 7-1 run, and then 5 overruns to close out the game. And you said at the beginning of the show, Coach, it's a game of runs, and the runs were favoring the Humber Hawks.
Yep.
And I feel for Durham. I really do. I think they're an amazing group. Coach Rowley has this team locked in, and hopefully they use this as motivation to get back. Remember, 2 spots for Ontario next year, so they can get back to VIU for next year in Nanaimo, BC, to win the national title.
Yeah, and I can tell you right now, for Durham, the only thing they're thinking about is, can we go to the locker room right now and huddle up in the locker room together as a family, because it's tough. It's tough to watch the other teams celebrate. But again, this is something you can carry over in the off season as extra motivation.
This is Montreal. It's not, and no disrespect anywhere else in Canada, but you know, Montreal's really good party city.
It is.
Just letting these guys know.
My Humber's gonna have a good night.
They will have a good night. I might throw some recommendations to them.
Yep.
If they wish to take my recommendations. I'm known to peruse the nightlife of Montreal, even now in my life. And now is the banner and trophy presentation coming up. And now the greatest lift in team sports, the banner and trophy. And for the 8th time, Humber is your CCAA champions. And here we go, the lift of all lifts.
What a scene, Mo.
This is no ordinary party. It is the party of parties.
You have all made CCAA men's national championships and unforgettable events.
They're going to take their team picture and then...
The greatest team photo in sports history.
Yes, and then we should be joined by maybe the player of the game.
We'll get whoever we get.
We'll see.
Whoever comes by here, we'll, you know. And there's Marnie and Jay Sean Elliott, who are making their way onto the Humber side.
Yes.
And we'll hopefully be joined by a few players here. Coach Omar Miles. Now they do the team photo, the greatest picture in sports. It's a forever thing. You can never take that picture away. It's a forever thing that you'll have, and you look back on it 20, 30 years down the road and say, remember when we were in Montreal in 2025 and we were down and we came back to win that game.
They're part of history right now. And like you said, it's something they're going to remember for the rest of their lives.
And we'll be joined very shortly here by the Humber Hawks.
And this is also a magical moment, the cutting down of the net.
And here comes Omar Miles as he'll make his way to us right now with the headset there. And the headset's right there, Coach, right over there. That's it, he's there. There you go, Coach. Coach, pretty boring game, huh?
Cardiac kids.
Coach, we spoke last week in our first interaction, and you said, look, you know, Ontario's cool to win, but we're here for a natty. We have national banners, not OCAA banners. How special is this for you to win it in this context of being down, and you got up from the 8 count, and you gave your knockout blow to win it by 6?
Vanier College de Durham.
Shout out to Durham. They inspired us. They gave us a good battle in Ontario, and we had to make sure that we came prepared for another battle. And like you said, it went down to the 10th round. We were on an 8 count, flat on our back, and we got up and we fought. We fought to the end and we won. So kudos to our guys.
Look, congratulations, Coach. Can you talk to me about the mindset? You guys were down for the majority of this game. At some point, you guys were down double digits. You had your best player picking up 2 fouls quickly in the game, barely playing in the first half, and you guys stuck with it. But what did you tell your guys at halftime to come out and have a tremendous second half like you guys did?
Leave it all on the court. Don't come here for nothing.
Yeah.
We lost in the semifinals last year, and our guys worked their tails off from May 1st to March
15th.
And we've been down many times. Double overtime versus St. Clair. Down by 14 in the first quarter to St. Clair at our home. And we came back. We always were a resilient bunch, and other guys always stepped up. And when you have a gentleman like this, who I called out for not matching the All-Canadian Mark Stoop in our Ontario final, and then him having to step up in a big way, shows how deep and how resilient my guys are. And you just have to have trust.
Coach, on your social media, your Instagram account, I noticed you had acknowledged when you won in 2022, 2 men who were instrumental in your life. Are you thinking about those 2 men right now as you win this championship for Humber?
You know what's funny? My mom is in Jamaica right now burying my great uncle and also my great aunt, who are my grandfather's siblings. They all passed away in February, a week from each other. And I was there for their funeral, and I didn't get a chance to bury them. And so, you know, my thoughts are always with my family, and this is my second family, and they bring up my spirits. And so, what better way to bring up your spirits than a victory at the Nationals?
Last question for you, Coach.
Absolutely.
One word to describe this Humber Hawks team.
Simple, resilient.
That's 2 words. That's okay. We'll give you 2 words, Coach. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Coach, you guys leaving tonight or tomorrow morning?
We're partying tonight, and we'll leave tomorrow morning.
You're leaving Monday morning because it takes a day to recover from Montreal nightlife.
All right, enjoy the 514.
Thank you very much, Jets.
Thank you. We'll talk
Appreciate you
afterwards.
guys.
We'll talk afterwards.
Cheers.
Adrian and Louie will be joining us now. Adrian, not a bad game. Not a bad game that you had here. 31 points in 27 minutes. Take us inside. Malik Grant was having a tough start to the game, and it felt like you were the constant punch that you brought. How important was you today to carry this load for your Humber Hawks?
It wasn't me, it was us, you know. Our captain wasn't playing as well as he could have. Obviously, the game plan for him, so we just came together and fought. That's it. You know, we're a team, so that's all that matters. We come together and fight no matter what.
Yeah, Adrian, congrats on the win and on the championship. Can you tell us, you don't have to use the exact words, but at some point in the second half, when you guys were making a comeback, it seemed like Malik at the timeout was very active and vocal. What were you guys telling each other to create that major comeback? What were you guys telling each other?
Yeah, I won't use his profanities, but he was just telling us basically, like, we just need to come together and fight. Like, you know, it's not over. There's still time. And this is it. It's now or never, you know? So, yeah, just come together and win this game, and that's what we did.
Adrian, two weeks ago, you guys were up at halftime against Durham, and they came in and won on your court. Tonight, it was almost identical halftime score, only off by 1 when you guys had scored 27 in the first half. Take us inside. Your team, you know, it wasn't going to be a knockout blow in the third quarter, but it was that body blow that you guys administered all throughout the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah, you know, it was personal. They came into our home court. They beat us in front of our fans, beat us in front of everyone. We saw everything they were doing on social media, all the antics, disrespecting us. And, you know, we came in here and we said we just need one chance against them, and we'll take care of business, and that's exactly what we did.
Last question for you. Who do you, on a day like tonight, at the pinnacle of team success, who do you think of that brought you to this point to get you this success in your life?
It's all Jesus. I want to give thanks to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Without him, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, 14! Yeah, 14!
It's the GOAT right here. That's the GOAT right there.
Adrian, congratulations, my guy.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Enjoy
Montreal. We got a few nice spots out here for you guys to
Take
enjoy.
care.
Take care, my guy. Malik Grant.
How you guys doing?
Hello
man?
again.
Yes,
We meet
sir.
again. We
Yes,
meet
sir.
again. We meet again.
We sure do.
This is my guy, yo. This is my guy, number 5.
Malik, it was a tough start, right?
Yes,
You
sir.
were at 0 points through 2 quarters into the third quarter.
Yep.
And you make a 3, it opened it up. And then you made a 3 from the 45-degree angle, and I said pressure makes diamonds.
Yes, sir.
And you were a diamond when it was needed most. How important was your role in that second half, given what you couldn't do in the first half?
I mean, shoot, I'm supposed to be the leader on the team, so if I'm the leader on the team, I got to push our guys no matter what situation I'm in. If I got 0 points in the first half, I got to make sure they're doing what they're doing. And if they do what they do, then we still got a chance to win when I come back in the next half, because I started with 2 fouls, so I had to be sitting out so I didn't get that third one.
Hey, Malik, congratulations on the championship, man.
Thank you.
Super impressed with your second half performance. I said it at halftime. It's not easy when you have to sit down an entire half like you did, just in terms of rhythm, right? As a player, you kind of lose that rhythm.
Yep.
Can you take us through halftime? What were you thinking? What was your thought process coming back on the floor for the second half?
I mean, my thought process is always the same. I mean, you do what you do. The work shows every single time. You put the work in, it's going to show. I mean, all I did was tell the guys, do what they do, play defense, and we'll get stops. If we get stops, then my offense will come. I'll get in that rhythm again.
I asked Adrian the same question. I'll ask the same question. 2 weeks ago, almost identical halftime scoreline. You guys were up against Durham. Same scoreline tonight. How much did it burn you guys to lose on your home court, the Ontario champion? But Coach Miles said, this is a business trip for us. We want to win it here and only put up national banners, not OCAA banners.
I mean, shoot, the OCAA banner meant a lot. I mean, it hurt to lose on our home court, but the ultimate goal from the start of the season was to be right here where we are, with this gold medal around our neck and everybody else cutting down the net. So as long as we kept working and kept doing what we do and follow what Coach does, then shoot, it worked out.
Last question for you. Who do you think about at this moment that got you to this point?
I mean, shoot, my mom, she's standing right there. My
Oh,
brother,
is she?
My mom's standing right there. My brother, he's probably watching this right now live.
Yeah.
And I lost 2 people very, very close to me. So that's really for them. This is really for them.
And have you thought about the ring size?
I've been thinking about the ring size since the start of the season.
Ring me. Congratulations,
Yes, sir.
Malik.
Thank you, guys.
Hey,
Have a good night.
congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Take care of yourself. Malik Grant's with us. And that's the beauty of sports, Coach. That is the beauty of sports. And it's been a phenomenal time here.
You know what's amazing, Mo?
Yeah.
When we do those interviews and to see those guys, like, and the amount of people that help them
Yeah.
get to where they are, whether it's a parent, whether it's a younger coach, a teammate, friends.
Yep.
Everybody goes through some stuff in their life, right? And it's an amazing feeling for these guys to proceed through it and be resilient, like their coach said, and ultimately to be national champion.
It takes a village to raise a child, and that's what
Yep.
you have here. These are young men who are being mentored by their coaches. As you know, with your women's team,
Yep.
mentoring them to become great women, it takes a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and a lot of mental health, a lot of everything here. But again, it is the beauty of sport right now. A big thank you. A big thank you to Vanier College.
Yep.
May, Mark LaChapelle, Hannah, Carissa, everyone here that went, as you said before. Go ahead.
I'm just going to add Mireille Bellan also, who
That's
was a
right.
bit in the dark, but
Exactly.
major support.
A lot of hours, as you said, that went into this whole process to build up this event. And, you know, so many things can go off the rails, but everything was smooth. And I think everyone loved coming to Montreal. Vanier is a basketball mecca in the city when it comes to the support and love of the sport. And thank you to everyone involved. We want to thank Primo Prod.
Yes.
Ronaldo and his crew that put this together. They made us look like MVPs
100%.
when we look like fools. But without them, we're nothing. And thank you to May for giving us the ability to do this,
Yep.
Frank. You know, I know you
Yep.
had your focus of women's basketball, and that was your priority to hopefully get them to the national. Unfortunately, it didn't go according to plan, and hopefully that will happen for you guys next year with the Nats at Dawson College, which
Yep.
we'll have here.
Yep.
And at Dawson College, not at Vanier, that is.
And Mo, thanks to you for making me look good as well.
I don't do
Hey,
anything, man. I just say
you're
a
the
couple
man.
words, and you are the MVP of this whole process. But thank you, Frank. And you know, look, we come in. I know people say, hey, you got to be objective. We did our best to be objective
Yep.
down the middle and
Yep.
give love to all the teams out there, to all the staffs that took the time to talk to us in the lead up to this event. We want to thank them. But for this night and forever in the rest of their lives, Humber Hawks are your national champions. Final thoughts?
I think you said it all. Thank you to everybody. Congratulations to all the team, and specifically to Humber Hawks for putting on a show and a well-deserved championship. And I think that's it for us.
That's it for us. It concludes our time here. We are done. Season is done, and I am transitioning to the professional ranks. I'll be back with you. I'll see you 6
Yep.
months from now. But a big thanks to everyone at Vanier College and the confidence they had in us to do this event. And it was 4 days of fun, unpredictable poetry that we had. And your Humber Hawks are your 2025 men's national champions. Congratulations to Coach Miles and his team. It'll be a sweet bus ride home. Commiserations to Durham and every team that tried to get that national championship. Only one can win, and it was the Humber Hawks. On behalf of Frank Renee, Primo Prod, and everyone at Vanier College, this is Mo Khan signing off. Bye for now.